Going is an accomplished artist who writes and illustrates her own books, plus creates paintings, sculptures, and a variety of mixed media art installations. Going's trip to the Academy this January and February was her second residency there. She says it was particularly meaningful given her Italian heritage. I recently interviewed Going, starting with her views on this historic city.
Rome is one of the most magnificent cities in the entire world because every street that you walk down is a walk through a page of archaeology, art history, anthropology, and culture. For instance, there'll be a Roman ruin and a medieval church and a Renaissance building and a Baroque fountain all in one block, interface with flower stalls and meat markets and cheese vendors.
You're given a chance to create in this incredibly stimulating environment, and then you have like a show of your work.
Yeah, I had a lovely studio. I did a small-scale series of sculptures called Angels, Alleys, and Antics of Rome. And it's very humbling. I mean, there you are producing art in the middle of the masterpieces of the world. You know, it's like, oh, I'm producing in the same city as Michelangelo and Leonardo and Bernini, and you're aware of that. And you're in all due respect, you're aware of carrying that tradition forward through time. You feel a part of a continuum. And in Rome, this continuum goes way, way back to the classical times. And you feel honored to be creating in a city that gave birth to all of that masterful art. And what's so wonderful about visiting art in Rome itself is that the art is in situ. It's in the location for which it was designed. It's not on the walls of museums. For instance, one church that I just love has a sculpture by Michelangelo, a sculpture by Bernini, a painting by Verrocchio, and a fresco by Fra Filippo Lippi. And that's just one church. And one has a sense of, oh, this is what art is supposed to be. It's supposed to be melded in with the effects of life, not hung on the wall of a museum.
Now, you tend to go on the big side. Were these big pieces?
No, these were small. The largest piece would have been 14 inches. And the reason for that is I was only there for 2 months, and it's not possible to do one of my large constructions in that small amount of time. My large constructions take approximately 6 months.
So when you go over there, you know what you're going to do?
I had a sense of what I was going to do, not the particulars. Part of the application process is you have to indicate something of what you're going to be doing when you get there, and you are accepted on the basis of what you're going to be doing. So you more or less have to stay true to form to what your proposal is. This particular series of sculptures I actually began when I was at the Academy 4 years ago, and I know I needed to fill it out more, but I had to get back to Rome to fill it out.
And the other, people that are on these residencies, like, can they just cruise in the studio and go, hey, how's it going?
No. Studios are always private. Someone can come into my studio only upon me inviting him or her. So in my instance, I invited people for an open studio during my final week, and that's when they could come in to see what I was doing, when I had stopped creating myself and the art was all done.
And how about the other people? Did they have readings? I mean, how did you understand what they were doing?
Yes, same thing. It's up to the discretion of the individual person. And there are many people there who aren't artists. They give PowerPoint presentations to the community in various times.
Okay, I have one more question, and I know you're a dancer.
Yes,
so here
yes,
you
yes.
are in Rome for 2 months.
Tango. There's a lot of tango in Rome, so I got to do a lot of tango. Argentine tango. Where the Academy is in Trastevere, which is a really interesting old medieval neighborhood, and right at the bottom of the hill there was a club, and I just made myself an aficionado.
All right, anything else you want to add?
I arrived in Italy to the 150th anniversary of the birth of Italy, and on the grounds of the Academy, a huge battle had been fought, and my great-grandfather fought in that battle. So there was quite a profound sense of connecting with my great-grandfather's energy, the fact that he fought in that battle for the unification of Italy. And because so many Italians died in that battle, I mean, the odds were stacked really against them. So what twist of fate did my great-grandfather continue to live that ended up having me being sent back to that scene of the battle 150 years later?
That was Jo Going talking about her experiences during a recent residency at the American Academy in Rome, Italy. In Homer, I'm Marcia Lynn.